Arizona Cardinals. Coach, good morning. How are things with you?
They're okay. Disappointed as has been the case too often this year.
Yeah, I know that there's no way in the world you ever want to get into ranking your feelings from week to week on the way losses make you feel. But is it does it get even worse when it's I want to say this carefully to not offend every Panther fan listening, but Carolina struggled as well, and you probably felt really good going into the game.
Well, you know what? I think where we are as a football team, I don't know if we can feel good going in anywhere. I mean, I felt good after coming off the way we played against Denver and thought we were making progress. And but it's always tough to go on the road. I don't care who you're playing. This league is sometimes you have to throw out the records and just know that the opponents that you're playing, they got good football players and they make a couple plays that can raise the intensity of the game. And we just, for us, it was the opposite. We had opportunities to make plays early and we didn't get it done. And that's what we've struggled with for a big part of this year.
After watching the film, was there a turning point in this game? Was there something that happened in this game where you looked at and you said, boy, that kind of set the tone and the tempo for the game?
Well, I think on offense we had a couple of third down and shorts early in the game, and we couldn't make those. We've struggled this year on third downs in large part because we've had third and nines, third and tens, third and longs. But when you get them into third and manageables and then you don't make those, that really becomes frustrating. It demoralizes your offense. It hurts the defense. It hurt that our defense wasn't able to do a better job against these guys in the first half. That also bothers you. But I think, when looking at it, the drop balls, there's no question.
Mm-hmm.
You got plays down the field and guys drop the football, and you work hard to get those things. And, I could probably sit here and go on and on. There's a lot of things. Special teams didn't do the job they needed to do yesterday. I mean, it was, a number of things, and that's very frustrating. So, but I can't point to one thing. But I would say that the thing that sticks out, obviously, is you work hard to get it into third and manageables. And we've said in order to sustain drives, you got to be able to convert those, and we didn't get it done.
And there were opportunities, right? On
Yeah.
a lot of those third. And how about the running game? There was a big difference, from the Denver game to yesterday. Anything in particular you noted there?
Well, I mean, they were playing 8 and 9 guys in the box at a time. They were
Yeah.
definitely going to try to stop the run game and make the quarterback beat them throwing the football. And, once again, we had our chances to do that, to make a difference, and we weren't able to make the catch, weren't able to execute the plays, and that's tough. We had guys running wide open down the field and couldn't get them the ball. And that's how you make them back off the line of scrimmage, and you're able to run the football. You're able to sustain some drives, and that's how it all fits together, and it didn't fit together at all yesterday.
There are things that you just it would just be rude to some of your players and stuff. You just can't say on the radio, and we understand that. But when you look at your running game, either yesterday or this year, do you kind of feel like, yeah, I know what the problem is, and it's going to take time to fix it, or has it kind of been something that's been a struggle for you all year for different reasons, and you're still trying to put your finger on it?
Well, it's easy to point your finger at a lot of things when things aren't going well. I mean, we've had some times this year where we've run the football pretty well, and we haven't been able to stay with it by the way the game's gone or just by the way things have gone against us. And I think that, it's definitely frustrating that you want to be able to run the football. But, in this league, if you're one-dimensional, if you can't throw the football, if you can't be successful that way, teams can take away the other thing, and that's what Carolina came in with their plan yesterday, which was to try to take away our run game. Obviously, we'd had over 200 yards rushing the last week. That was a big part of the second half, and they were going to try to stop us. And we had a good plan. I think that we could have had a chance to hit some runs if we'd have been able to catch some of those balls and move the ball down the field, and that's what's really frustrating.
And on that note right there, Wiz, your impressions of John Skelton and how he played.
Well, I think that John struggled a little bit early in the game. He missed some reads that were there, made some poor decisions as far as where he's throwing the football, but that's his first game as a starter on the road, and that's a little bit different. And but I thought as the game went on, there was a situation, the 2-minute drill that he ran at the end of the game where we went down and scored a touchdown. I was very impressed with how he handled himself there. And then he made a couple of really good throws in the pocket down the field. He just missed early on one where Beeson got a hand on it on the third down. If that had been a yard further, that would have been a huge play. So I think that he got more comfortable as the game went on. You could see it early that he wasn't as comfortable. And I think that's, like I said, a portion of what they were doing to us defensively as far as, bringing a lot of guys down in the box, and just he didn't make some good reads. But I'm encouraged with the progress he made. We got to remember he's a rookie and he's got a long way to go. But every week's a learning week for him. I thought he hung in there. He stayed confident and stayed calm, and he did some good things in the latter part of the game.
And I know you're constantly talking to him on the sideline, and you're asking him questions, give and take. How much can he progress over the course of a game? I know there's like a third down early where perhaps he could have run, and then the next series he did run and pick up that third down. I don't know if there was a result of a conversation you had with him and how much progress you can get over the course of a game.
Well, with him, everything is new as far as in the games and what you're experiencing, and that's what the veteran quarterbacks or guys that have been around for a couple of years have the advantage on. But he's done a good job of processing the information. The thing that I like about John is that he's able to tell you his thought process when he came off the field. There was one play early where he tried to throw the ball to Larod, who was matched up with Beeson on a little rail route down the sideline, and that's a very low percentage throw, and we had Steve Breston wide open on that play, and that his read was to take him to Steve Breston. The only time you take that throw is when you've got it open. And he was able to understand that. You get on and say, John, look, that's a low percentage throw. You can't make that throw. And then we came back later in the game, and he made a read similar to that, and he went through his progression, and he hit Steve for a first down. So those are the kind of things that it's disappointing, because you work hard during the week of making him understand what the read's going to be, but you never know what happens on game day. But his ability to process it after that and come back and get better during the game is a sign that you feel like, well, you got a chance with John.
Did you go into halftime, like as soon as halftime hit, were you already thinking, I think we need the spark, I think we need to go with the onside kick, or did it develop through conversations during halftime that you were going to try that?
No, it was something that we talked about at halftime, just going in thinking about where we were going to be. I thought coming back out in the second half, that was a play that we worked on in practice. They'd given us the look the first time we'd kicked it. We thought it was going to be there. There was a little bit of wind yesterday, and I was figuring if we came out and we onside kicked, we could take the bad field position in the third quarter, give us a chance in the fourth quarter, because figuring we would get the onside kick. And our guys did a nice job. They blocked the one man that was there. The ball sat on the ground forever, but the rule in the league now is if it doesn't go 10 yards and you touch it, it's their ball anyway. That's why Jay let it sit there, hoping that one of their guys would touch it and he'd get on it. But that's the bottom line is, we didn't execute it.
He got blasted too, didn't he?
Yeah.
The second one, yeah.
The second one,
yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
It was.
My goodness.
The strategy was the reason that we did it was there, and we thought we had a chance, just like the fake field goal the week before. We just didn't execute it. But I thought at that point in the game, in order, like you said, to give us a spark, it would have been the right move.
Mm-hmm. I know you do not like to praise rookies in any way, shape, or form. But Dan Williams is a bright spot. I know the season has been incredibly disappointing to you and to your players, but Dan Williams right now, I would say, has got to be a bright spot.
Yeah, and Andre Roberts.
Andre
is
Roberts
starting to do the same thing. I think, if you look at those two guys, they didn't play a lot early. They had to work their way into playtime, and it's starting to pay off for us a little bit right now, and that's exciting. I think we have a lot of young guys. We've got 5 rookies that are playing quite a bit right now. Our first, second, third, fourth, and fifth round picks are all playing, and our 7th round pick, Jim Dre, is making significant contribution too. So. We're suffering from making a lot of rookie mistakes or young player mistakes. We're playing a lot of young guys. That doesn't make anybody happy or make an excuse for it, because guys got to understand they got to make plays. But, on one level, it is exciting to see Dan play the way he's playing, because the reason that we drafted him where we did was we thought that he would be an impactful player at that position, which is hard to find. And, boy, he sure is starting to look that way.
And he did against Ryan Khalil, who was a pretty top-notch center as well. How about Darryl Washington? He did play a lot early and then sat down. And how is he different now than he was maybe in September?
Well, I think he has a better understanding of what he has to do. There's definitely a speed differential when he's in there. You can really see it. He's tackling a little better now. The sense of urgency for him is a little bit different than it was early in the season, and a lot of that is because his head was swimming earlier in the year. Now he's a little bit more comfortable with our scheme and what he has to do, and he can play faster. So I'm encouraged with the way Darryl has played over the last couple of games, and I just think he's got a really bright future as well. There's a lot of things to be excited about from our young players.
I know you've probably put in only about 2% of the work that you need to get ready for the Cowboys right now, and you got a lot more to do. But what has been their turnaround? It's easy for fans and all of us in the media to say, well, it's Jason Garrett. But from what you've seen in starting to get ready for the Cowboys, what's been the key for them to play a lot better football?
They started making plays. they weren't making enough plays early, and they were giving up plays defensively. And now what's happened is some of their playmakers, I think Jason Witten had 140 yards yesterday on 10 catches. The quarterback's making some throws down the field, and they're starting to get some confidence because there are guys making those plays, and they've built off of that. And, they're a talented football team. There's no question about that. A lot of people had picked them to be one of the Super Bowl favorites, and, they're starting to play well and make plays.
Any sentiment whatsoever either way on playing on Christmas Day? Kind of different.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think that we definitely would be a lot more excited if our record was better. But, I think we're going to be excited. I think it would be a more exciting game. I think if both, if we had played better during the year and we were in a situation where, like we have been the last couple of years, where we were gearing up for the playoffs. But I think it'll be a great atmosphere. We'll be excited to play that game. It's the only game that day, and our guys will get fired up for it.
Well, Wolf and I apologize.